Cool.
I can't stop smelling.
It smells so good.
We're talking all the lady stuff. Try.
Yeah.
Hair?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
It's my Sunday ritual.
It's so
Your
good.
your Sunday ritual is a hair routine?
Yeah.
It's like a skincare, self-care day for me.
Oh, okay.
That.
Yeah.
I watch football. Gabby was in the garage all day.
Yeah.
This is a non-work day for Gabby, and she's just straight to the garage. She's like, it's not work. It's it's
It's
passion.
Explain to
It's
try
my
because
art.
obviously, like athlete artists, like we have a lot of similarities, but like we also have a lot of differences. Like I was trying to explain to him that like how surfing for him is like play. That like sometimes like obviously this art stuff that I do is work, but it's also play. Like this is my surfing.
It's
so
like
I'm
an outlet
like
for you.
yeah.
You also work from home, so it's very confusing to know the difference.
And to have boundaries, I feel like that's really hard when you like walk around your house and you're like, oh, I see this project.
Right.
Oh, I could just go downstairs and work on this right now.
Like we finished the last project like 2 years ago. There was nothing. I was like, all right, we're done. There's nothing else to work. And we've had projects
Yeah.
It never stops.
continuously.
Yeah. Do you take any days off?
Yeah, I do. But like for instance, right now we're about to take 2 weeks or 3 weeks off, so I'm like working triple time.
While you're in your third trimester.
Because yes.
Luckily,
Also crazy.
Luckily the OBGYN, that's what it is, right? She told Gabby to stop lifting heavy things. I was like, you have to tell her or else it's not going to work. She's like, okay, stop. Don't carry things over 10 pounds. Which I was like, yeah, right.
Over 10
pounds is a
I'm like,
little
are you
light.
kidding? And then
Your daughter's over 10.
yeah, and then
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
carrying Naya this morning, and she was like, "Mom, you're not supposed to be carrying me."
Naya's on board.
She's like, "You've done this
Keeping you in
twice
check.
already."
She's got you in check.
The personality's coming out.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, it was funny. I was talking to my boyfriend this morning. He's like, what are you doing today? I was like, nothing. Sunday is my day off. Sunday, I have nothing to do. I relax. I have slow mornings. It's like the one day off where I can like reset my body before like the full week starts. But like I feel like none of us here have traditional 9 to 5
So you're
jobs.
good at setting boundaries.
Yeah.
For work. What about at night? Do you turn off? Like, do you not respond to emails or check your emails after a certain hour?
No, I'm bad at that. Like, I feel like I reserve my evenings for that because, like, during the day, it's like training. Thank you. Yeah, no, I feel like that's the one time I have to, like, get that stuff done because my whole day is filled with physio, training, workouts, recovery, and then like by the time it's 6 p.m. and I'm like, oh, I have to do all my emails now.
Yeah.
And then that'll take like my evening.
Right, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Totally,
especially,
you gotta fit it in.
So this is like our whole thing.
I have to
lately,
turn off.
And what we've been talking
I'm like
about.
bipolar with it. Like, I don't care if I got it done. Business is done for the
You
day.
can switch off like that.
Oh, he
have to
does.
turn it
He'll
off.
go weeks without responding to emails
No,
because
I don't know about that.
he does. Because
I
and
believe
then
that.
If
I'm
they're
like,
not-
I'm gonna
if-
deal with
I
this because I
prioritize.
can't. I'm the type of person who hates having one unread email. Like,
So you have no
I
notifications
check
on your phone?
immediately.
Oh my God,
Like,
how many notifications? I have so many.
It drives me insane.
I feel like athletes are notoriously bad at responding to emails and to people. Like trying to get a hold of athletes is really hard. But I aspire to be like you. I aspire to be able to like get it all
he
done.
does not.
No, you're good. Just checking out.
No, and also like like in bed, there's like a space.
Yeah.
You know, like of we're not working here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Space.
I think that is important. It's healthy.
Right.
That's what you read in all of the like how to have the best recovery, how to have a great
Right.
relationship is like set the boundaries and like the bedroom is no phones, no TVs, no screens. But
Also,
I mean,
like
it's hard to
stress
live by.
stress is a big part of recovery, right? For us to actually turn our brain off and relax from going from competing to not, or like worrying about the next day and like doing everything right, I feel like you have to like take steps to turn off.
100%.
So I have that, like I stretch or I do
Yes.
tea or whatever, you know, like I have a bedtime routine almost to like wind down.
Oh yeah.
So if that gets interrupted by work, it's just like,
Or by seeing me
What are we
work,
doing?
that's
Yeah.
also equally
why are you
as
still
triggering
on your
as
phone?
him
Can't
working
relax.
and
Yeah, why are you
seeing
still
me
on your
work.
phone?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like what is like how many hours do you need before bed to like start winding down? Like when does that start?
Well, it depends on the day. It's just like if my energy starts to fade, I don't want to like force it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like to be done by 5.
You like to be done everything by 5, and then you have like your dinner. And
I mean, our schedules are crazy, right? Like
and you have a kid too.
That's a different.
Like,
that's
when
not
you have a
work.
kid,
That's
sometimes
responsibility.
you have to do some things after bedtime.
For sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just try not to, or I just have a hard no. You know, depending on how important it is.
Mm-hmm.
My checklist is just like, not worth it.
It's so funny because I feel like that for me, that's like the one silver lining when he's on the road, or what I tell myself when he's traveling. It's like, oh my God, I can work until midnight. Nobody's going to yell at me.
I won't get in trouble.
So bad. That's so funny. As I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so how my mind works.
Would you consider yourself?
And I really appreciate him like trying to keep me in check, but at the same time, sometimes
it's a balancing act.
Yeah, it's a balance.
I feel like that's why you probably work so well, is you kind of have like different philosophies, and you have like a good balance. You keep each other in check, where maybe she like inspires you to like, oh, maybe I could respond to one email, and she's like, okay, maybe I should stop working.
Yeah.
But do you consider yourself a workaholic?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it.
No.
As of late.
Yeah, but you're on a time crunch. I mean, you're pregnant and you're leaving for vacation. So I'm sure you're like, I got to get all of this done before things change again.
You know what I am? I think I'm a productivity addict.
She loves checklists.
Yeah.
I hate checklists.
Yeah.
Because they never end. Like,
I
love beating a checklist, but then there's just more. It's just like, well, I can't win this.
That never bothers me. It's the checking off that's satisfying. I don't care if there's more. Like, it's just, I have things to check off. It makes me so happy.
Do you have like a checklist on your phone, or is it written? Okay. And you like click the little bubbles?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is satisfying to click those.
Yeah.
I feel like you're like my boyfriend in that, where he needs to be productive at all times.
Yeah.
And I literally said to him, I was like, it's good to have time for your central nervous system to reset.
Yeah.
Because it was like, for me, Sunday is like, I have no alarms on a Sunday for me. I prioritize a slow morning. Just, I have my tea. I have a nice hearty breakfast. I do my skincare. And then like whatever time that happens to be, I'm done all that. That's when I start my day. And he's like up and at him. He's calling me. He's like, I have to go run. I have to go run to this store. I have to go pick up this. And I was like, you need to just rest. Like your body, like you stress all week. Like you're working all week. Your body's working. You need like at least a morning or like a day to just like let your body catch up to like all of the stress it's kind of been under. So that's kind of how I treat a Sunday or a recovery day or a day off. But it's hard. It's so hard to stop because you can never get everything you want to get done in the time frame. There's never enough time in the day.
Yeah.
Was Connor like that when he was still playing? Because I think because I've been taking a lot of time off lately, which is the problem here, right? Is that Gabby's office is our house.
Yeah.
Literally the living room is. I'm like, you're still here? What are you doing? She's like, this is my office. I'm like, but I'm usually gone so much during the year, so like it's totally normal to have your work in the living room. But if you're working, I'm like, if you're in her space. But if you're in the living room, like I can talk to you, right?
Yeah.
But no, she's working. I'm like,
go
work in the office.
Focus on what you're saying right now.
We have an office.
That's true.
You seem like you're really intentional about your time too, like because you have so much going on. You have a million things going on at one time. But you seem like you're really good at like, do you plan ahead? Like, how do you go about it?
I think like given the nature of our sport and like the lives that we chose, you are kind of forced like on a macro scale to be able to like plan like where you're going to be in what country when. And then when you like bring it down more to like micro, like day to day, like I thrive on a routine because it gives me, I guess, clarity and kind of piece of knowing like the structure of the day, and that way I can like plan when I'm supposed to be like super focused at practice, and then I'm supposed to prioritize this, and then I always will reserve time for recovery. Like I do function more as a homebody. I feel like that's where I get my energy from, that's where I get my reset from, and so I know that that's a priority for me. So I am intentional with how I choose to like give away my energy and who I give my energy to. Otherwise, I think that I wouldn't be able to like show up to the court the next day and like be able to bring my best. So I do kind of just like, there's like a threshold, I guess, or like there's a cup of like, this is how much I have in me, and like this is where I'm going to put that, and this is where I'm going to put that, this is where I'm going to put that. And I feel like I've learned that over time. Like I'm 32, so it's taken time, and I still feel like it's a learning progress and it changes, but you have to figure out like who you are and what's important to you and like where you get your energy and what takes your energy. And that I think just kind of helps guide how I operate day to day. And also the year, like we're at the end of the year, it's almost December, and I've been going for a whole year, and I can just feel myself kind of like I'm at my very wit's end, and I'm just like, we're just pushing through to the very end. Like it's taken so much emotionally, mentally, physically. Seriously. And so like, I know where I'm at, like where my threshold is at right now. It's not optimal. I mean, we kind of planned it that way as athletes. You periodize. Our optimal time was during the Olympics, and I feel like that worked out for us. But the last few months have been really hard to kind of like tap into that energy source for me, because I felt like I gave a lot of it up already, like in the middle of the year. Yeah. And so like I've been just kind of like trucking on like fumes right now, but like doing a pretty good job of it. I'm very proud of myself, but I'm definitely, I'm ready for a big breather. Right. You know?
Sure. What fills your cup up the most? Like when you're like at that point, like what do you need to do? Obviously like self-care.
Yes, yeah, good skincare. Awesome. No. So actually after the league, I went home, like back to Canada, to Victoria for a couple weeks. And I didn't realize how much that was going to fill my cup up. And so I think just being in a place where I feel like is mine, and kind of I have like my surroundings around me where I feel really comfortable and I feel kind of at peace and at home, I feel like I can actually finally recover. You know, when I live out of like a suitcase and I'm traveling from here to there, different places, different homes, different beds, different hotels, I feel like it's hard for me to like really just like relax and settle in. And so I think being at home, and home isn't necessarily a place, but it's like people. It's kind of like, I think that's kind of the vibe for me. Yeah. So being around the people that I can just kind of like let go, I feel like that really fills up my cup. And I'm finding also nature is that kind of energy source and that reset for me. And I live on Vancouver Island now, and so it's like the most beautiful place. It's just surrounded by nature, and like just being there, smelling the fresh air. Maybe you get that when you go back to Hawaii. Just like being back in that place, I feel like is a huge reset and fills up my cup. And there's so much research, honestly, on the benefits and the beauty of being around trees, around forests, around the ocean.
That's a big one for Trav.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've been trying to figure that out over the last, for years. But also, Hawaii, again, right now, I feel like we've been in a phase of figuring out, because we're like, okay, when you're so one-track minded on something and you're trying to be the best, right? You sacrifice all these other things, and we're like, okay, maybe that way of approaching things isn't really like for you anymore. More like, maybe we should like shift how you're approaching things. So we're like, trying to figure out how to bring more of that into his life, like ocean and nature, 'cause all that stuff is really big for
him. Like growing up, I was in nature every day, right? Going to the beach. Like literally I play beach volleyball because I grew up at the beach club or whatever. Wild. So like there's definitely a disconnect when you're not like feeling connected to it. That just is like a missing part of you, I think. Something like that.
That's deep.
Which is weird because she's from cities.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I'm opposite.
And like I love nature. Like I'll go in nature. It brings me a lot of joy too, but I don't feel like I need it as much. Yeah. Right. Like I,
that's fair.
Grew up in London and I'm used to
Yeah.
Oh
I mean, we're animals.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We're animals at the end of the day, right? We're one of the animals on the planet. So it's like you're supposed to be kind of linked up with nature.
For sure.
But when you're on planes and hotels and in cities, for me at least in cities, you're just fully like blocking it off, all the nature from yourself. And then you get caught up in your own world, but then you're like disconnected from like the groundingness of nature.
I know he feels that way about like New York City, right? Like he can last like 2 days max in New York City.
I love New York.
But like when he calls where we live, this is like a concrete jungle. I'm like, what here with the ocean right there? Like we live like the ocean's right there. Where like he still feels like this is so city compared, and to me this is like not. This is like a little
That's so funny.
I like notice not. Like when I go home, I'm like, oh, wind in the tree. Yeah. That's a nice.
You're so attuned.
I remember hearing that growing up. Like when I slept, I hear wind in the trees because we have wind all the time.
I would just hear sirens.
Right. So to me, that's weird.
No, that's wild.
So wild.
I see both sides for sure, because I did grow up in Toronto, like city girl, and I honestly love Toronto, and I love cities. Like when I think of New York, Chicago, London, I've always wanted to go, but I feel like it's a different type of energy. And for me, city energy is like electric. It like awakens your senses in a way that can be overstimulating.
Right.
And to some people, it can be super overwhelming. But for me, there's like, oh my gosh, there's so many things you can do. And there's so many beautiful things. I see a lot of like culture and arts and entertainment from cities and the food industry. So I think they both give energy in different ways. But I think there's like, for me, there's like a threshold where like a city, I find there's almost so much choice and so much decision for me that I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to do so much that I can just feel myself being overwhelmed. And then now I think I've translated over, like a city served me so well in my 20s and just growing up. Like I loved growing up in a city. I thought I learned so many great values.
For sure.
But now I'm kind of getting into this place of my life where I'm really craving kind of serenity and like calm and peace. And I never grew up really near nature. So getting a sense of that being on the island has been eye-opening and like, oh, this gives me energy in a different way. It's like a very calming energy,
grounding and peaceful, right?
And it's like a kind of like a reset. And so I love both for both reasons.
Sure.
But I noticed a similar vibe when Connor, who grew up, he was born and raised, my boyfriend, on the island on Vancouver. And when he comes to a city, when he comes to Toronto, I can see him getting like a little anxious, just like the cars and crossing the streets and the noise and driving in a city is like a nightmare. And it's like you can just see how like your senses are just respond differently depending on what you're used to and what you thrive on. But I love both, but when I'm looking for like a reset, a recharge, I'm gravitating more towards nature.
I think that's why it's like polar opposites from it. Maybe that's the people say Gemini thing, right? You're like,
are you a Gemini?
We're both Geminis.
Are you Gemini? I'm surrounded. Connor's a Gemini too. Yeah. You guys, I'm surrounded by Gemini. No, crazy. Do you resonate with your sign?
Yeah.
I mean,
polar opposites, like
it's the only one I know, so like people tell me that. But then the more people say it, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. But like I came to LA.
Really two different, like, sides.
Yeah, for sure. I came to LA. I wanted to like achieve things, right? Like go see what I can do, push myself, achieve things. Great. Go to a big city. Everyone's there to make money, be successful, and grind. Like that. I definitely have that hard work side of me and grow. Yeah, all that. But then I also have the other side. And so it's a little hard to balance. Like it's nice right here where I can walk to the beach, but also I'm so spoiled. Like when me and my friends came up here when we were younger, we were the most negative little shits ever. We're like, oh, the California shithole, these freaking beaches suck. They're dirty.
Which,
cold
like,
water.
If you've been to Hawaii,
I remember.
You understand, but then you're like, this is.
But that's
it's still very nice.
That's all we knew that existed in the world was
that's all you
perfect
knew.
Beaches, and we were just so negative. I remember we had to stay up here for like a week to like in between like the indoor camps or whatever. We were in Seal Beach and we were just so negative and hating it so much.
So crazy.
So even like going to this beach, like it's literally freezing. My hands are numb every day. And I paddle out, quarter mile, just sit on the sup and just literally sit there and look back.
Get as far away from the building as he can.
You see the view back? It's literally concrete.
Yeah.
Not one piece of green anywhere unless you look at PV.
Right.
So it's just unique. And that to me is like, it's a beach technically, but it's concrete hitting the water basically. And it's tractors grooming it. Like there's no rock, like real, there's no reef. And even for me exploring the ocean, there's like things to do. There's places to go. Over here, it's just one long beach of sand.
I see what you're saying.
Just
like you have standards. No, you have like this one definition of what like a beach looks like and feels like to you because that's how you grew up. And then you go to other ones. Like I would consider myself a beach snob as well, where I kind of grew up traveling the world to different beaches. And so I know
them all, right?
Now I know a lot of different, and there's so many different types. And so then I'll go to a beach, like Connor will take me to a beach on Victoria and I'll be like, this is not a beach. Why are there stones? Where's the sand? Like I don't call this a beach. And so like you become elitist in like, I'm a sand snob, apparently is what he calls me. But you could say the same about cities. Like sometimes like I go to like downtown LA and I'm like, this doesn't feel like a city to me because a city for me, like a really great city is like walkable. And like you have like these little neighborhoods and boroughs and stuff and you can like walk around and meet all the little vendors and you don't I haven't seen that in LA much.
Yeah.
So I
It's
feel
just so
like
spread out, LA.
totally. And you
Yeah.
have to have a car, and I don't know. There's certain things about a city and about a beach, I guess, that make them unique to us and whatever that definition is.
Yeah.
So I feel like your definition is totally valid, even though this beach is really beautiful.
It is
and gorgeous.
I just have to remind myself.
Yeah, he
That's
just
the
has to
problem.
remind himself because there's been that like dialogue in his head.
But you
so
grew
long.
up in like really cool cultural cities, like London.
Tell me more.
Yeah, you can get
How long
around
were you
as a
there
kid.
for?
So I actually was born in New Jersey, lived there till I was 2, lived in Connecticut for a year, then lived in Belgium for 4 years.
Oh my gosh.
London for 6 years, and then back to New Jersey for 4 years for high school, and then out here for when I was 18. So yeah, I just had such vastly different experiences in each place, I guess. So I'm used to like that. And we had this conversation recently because he's like kind of planting the seed for like, oh, maybe like we'll move a little further south or a little further north at some point where it's a little more. And I'm like so comfortable here because I'm so used to like, and I realized it's because I'm like so used to moving around. It's like so nice to have somewhere that's like feels like home for so long.
100%. You've literally built this home.
Yeah.
Like you literally put your blood, sweat, and tears into this, where it feels like yours.
Totally.
So I could see how that would be hard to move away from. But
For sure.
do you find like living in Europe for, I guess it was like 10 years of your upbringing, like kind of like created this different reality for you in like a way of how you approach life in Europe versus life here? Or like did it kind of like guide that a little bit? Did you notice differences?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I had to turn the SANDCAST light on.
Your art. I have to.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Made by Gabby.
I feel like, all of it shaped me so much and like just how I see the world, I guess. I mean, London is where I first got into acting in the first place. But just like, I guess, seeing so many different cultures and different ways of living, I got really curious about like how we're all kind of born into a different like situation, just like, and it's so random, and we all just have such completely different life experiences. And so I think that is what got me into acting. So
that's so crazy.
Because, just being curious about people and the way people live and what people go through and all of that. So yeah.
Do you feel like you're in a point in your life where you're feeling like you want to settle because of how much you kind of moved around?
Yeah, I don't think it's like necessarily that I'm against moving. Like when I think about it, I'm like, I'm used to that. Like, my home is, like you said, wherever my family is. Like I could, I could be happy anywhere, but I think I just get I get comfortable, and I'm comfortable here now, and I'm like so happy with the way things are going and what we have going on. And like, I mean, a big part of my desire in life right now is like Try's happiness and him finding what his kind of, what he needs and what brings him joy. Because we talk about it a lot, but like I'm kind of like a naturally, like, I don't know, how would you describe it? Like I'm happy with my like I'm kind of just content with
it kind of blows my mind, actually.
Like you're like adaptable to anything?
She's just good. Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm good. I'm just like, I'm just happy. I don't know. I'm just like, I feel like grateful for, the people and the whatever. And I feel like a lot of the time I'm like, I'm just content and I don't like need,
Right.
but I feel very lucky to feel that way. It's definitely a nice way. I mean, I definitely had moments in my 20s, a lot of them, where I did not feel that way. But I feel like, as I'm now, we've been married for, 7 years now. I'm comfortable. Like, I just, things feel not like great. And work is great. And,
I love hearing that. I feel like it's almost like a rare perspective these days where you can be really happy and grateful for what you have. I feel like more often than not, it's like you're looking at what you don't have. It's like you feel like a less than or a lack of. Yeah, and it's like, I won't feel content or happy until I reach this or until I get that.
Right.
And I feel like we need more of that.
Well, I think, I think this is another thing that acting has taught me because that's kind of what it's been, you know, when I first started, or when I was in college or just after college, it was like all of my mentors and like acting coaches, and specifically one, their main thing for me was, don't be like the people who come to LA and are like, I'm only going to be happy when I book this, or when he's like, booking things, or, you know, it's not going to bring you happy. If you're not happy now, you're not going to be happy then. Yeah. So create a life that you love. And that's been my mantra over the last, 15 years, is like, okay, I'm not going to wait for anything. I'm going to create a life that I love. And
that's huge for actors.
Oh yeah.
That's so many people come here around the world and just are like, here we go. I'm going to be a successful actor.
Yeah. Right.
Or else I failed. And they fail because it's a slow process and it's extremely hard, and then they go home back. And
obviously wherever. Again, it has to be a balance, because like everything, like if you get too comfortable, then you're not really
complacent.
Like, yeah,
and you're not like going after it.
So it's like there's a balance of you know, still, you know, you want it bad enough but not so bad that it hurts.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's like so much like self-awareness.
And it's so similar to what you guys are going. That's why there's so many similarities between acting and athlete sports.
For sure.
Because it's like that, like, you know, you're striving for something that's so unique and so hard to get to, and so rare that people get to that, be working consistently, or be working at the top, or to be going to the Olympics, winning a medal. Yeah. Like these things are, you know, you have these dreams when you're younger, and you obviously have to believe them, but it's like, how likely are these things? You know, you have to be a certain type of person to really go for that. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, how do I approach this mindset wise? Like, am I going to be okay if I don't get that? And do I tell myself that?
Yeah.
Or does that hurt me trying to get there? If I tell myself, oh, I'm going to be okay if I don't get to that place. Yeah.
But I think as athletes, sometimes especially when you're younger, you look at like the Kobe's and whatever, you hear the stories of like, there is no other, there is no other option. Winning's the only option. Right. And like, you don't give yourself an out so that you don't fall back, right? Yeah. And that's just going to maximize your ability to win. But then it's like, that's not for everyone.
Yeah. No, and I feel like I actually have kind of leaned into more of the opposite stories, where I hear more from like those success stories, like the Michael Phelps and the Simone Biles, who did achieve greatness and like got that goal of getting a gold medal. And then they talk about the downside of that, and like the depression that comes with that, and the expectations and the pressure that comes with that. And so you think that reaching this pinnacle will make everything better, and like life will come together and I'll feel fulfilled, and you realize that's actually not the case. And you hear more and more and you hear more and more athletes who do accomplish that and get to that goal and realize that, oh, life isn't about this, or this journey isn't about that. You can't wait for the result to feel fulfillment, or to feel contentment, or to feel like at peace with yourself. Yeah. It's like part of the journey. And I feel like I'm kind of going through that right now, where, 100%. You know, I just finished the Olympics where I got a silver medal, which is amazing.
Incredible.
You got to play for a gold.
I got to play for a gold for sure. But it is still, and like we set so many like records, and we made history for Canada for our sport. And so there is so much to be proud of, and just how the Olympics went for us. Like there was so much that was not looking good for us. And so it was like an incredible ride, a crazy ride the last 2 years. And even coming off from Tokyo, where, you know, we were a medal contender, but then we didn't medal, and just all these different emotions. Right. And then we got a medal now. But it's not the color that you want necessarily. And so now I'm having all these thoughts where it's like, would my life be different with a gold medal?
Right.
And I kind of remind myself, I ask myself that question intentionally, like every once in a while, to show myself, like maybe in some ways, maybe there might be a couple more sponsors who would be interested. But at the end of the day, and it really hurts. It really hurts, like, because I want to feel so proud of like the silver medal, because it represents so much. But it does sting a little bit, you know, even saying like, oh yeah, we have a silver medal. Right. Like it just doesn't, crazy. I know, but it still like kind of stings a bit.
I get it.
But at the end of the day, like I feel like the people around me will still love me, regardless of the color that I have. Like, I still have my family and friends. I still have the foundation of who I am, my values and my core, my morals, those haven't changed. My love for the game, that hasn't changed. Thankfully, like, my partnership and the team that we built for the last 2 years heading into Paris, that hasn't changed. We still have so much love and respect for each other. We have all these memories that we built together that will never go away. And so there's like all these different things I think that are more important that I had to really kind of find and get that perspective back, because it can be so easy to sit on, oh man, you know, like we didn't get it. We didn't get the whole thing. We got some part of it, but so it's an interesting journey for everybody. But it, like in athletes, you're told all these different messaging.
It's so wild. It blows my mind. I've spent so much time, because obviously, like, I've seen Tri, you know, through 3 Olympic qualification periods. Quads. And like how much he's given up and all this. And when you say, yeah, like, look at all these people who are the best and what they've had to sacrifice and all that, and then you see them at the end look back, and I don't know, are there people who look back and think like, oh, it wasn't worth it? They
usually don't think it wasn't worth it, but they definitely are like depressed. And like,
it's really dark. So now I feel like that's where I kind of have this inner struggle throughout the years of like in the way that I support Tri, because I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I want to support you, and like, I 100% whatever you want, I want, and you should go for whatever you want. But then there's a side of me that's like watching him like sacrifice as much as he's sacrifice time with our daughter, sacrifice his happiness, his health, all these things, and health big time. And I'm like, from my perspective, it's not worth it, but I'm not an athlete. So it's very different, you know, and then it's, and then I don't know. It's such a trip to me from the outside watching you guys and how,
And I would say even for us, like, I definitely have those thoughts too sometimes. I'm sure you do, where it's like, gosh, like, I am going to miss this in life. I'm going to miss seeing my niece and nephew grow up. I'm going to miss my best friend's wedding again, like another one. I'm going to miss all these milestones in life. I'm going to miss, like, I honestly would have loved to have a family by now. You know, I'm not that it's not possible. There's so many women on tour who have babies and they keep playing and they come back even better. But it's like, it hasn't been something that I was planning for. And so there's so many things that you do put off and that you sacrifice. And like, the body hurts. And like, I mean, everyone kind of goes through different experiences. And you obviously have one that is like so challenging that I couldn't relate to. But like, we all are kind of going through something. And just like I got this place together with my boyfriend last year, and I've spent 15 days total since buying this house.
Wild.
He just lives in it alone.
And it's like, wow, is that a good use of my money? Like, you just don't know until you do it. And so it's like, it really forces you to look in the mirror and be like, okay, why? Like, yes, you talk about defining your why and like, what is it worth? Like, what is worth your time? And I think that also evolves. Like, what my why was 4 years ago is different than what it is now, and what it's going to be tomorrow, what it's going to be for the next quad. Like, I think just trying to, like, I guess, define and redefine why you're doing this and what brings you joy, I think for me has been a challenge, and being okay with that it changes, and being okay that not every day is going to be something that I'm like, yep, this is exactly what I want to be doing right now because it brings me joy all the time, because it doesn't.
And it's not going to be like that for anyone, right? Like, nobody's going to be feeling like that all
and
the
it's
time.
Especially hard for the ones who love us and who are like my family back home and my boyfriend back home, who's watching from afar and, you know, kind of seeing us go through the ups and downs and like trying to be as supportive as they can, knowing that we've given our all to this. And like, you know, you seen Tri do this and be like, gosh, is this worth it for us and for our family? Like, these are the things that maybe people don't realize we have to like grapple with, and that we have to.
It's wild. And I don't say that out loud much.
No, I know.
Really, because you know, right? Like, I don't think I mean, maybe more that. Lately.
Well, it's
but like, I don't say that. Through the years, I've kept my mouth shut a lot when I think that in my head, because I'm like, nope, that will take away from the right, like
the craziness.
I wonder why. Did you feel like it's gotten stronger over the years?
That feeling?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think when you watch somebody go through 3 Olympic qualification periods
and fail to qualify.
Fail to qualify 3 times.
I mean, that it's a gnarly journey.
And especially for beach volleyball, like, it's not like he shouldn't be there with them. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, he failed, like he wasn't good enough. It's like, oh, there's literally
country quoted
4 people who
twice.
get to go, and he did qualify, but he didn't get to go because of the country. Like, it's just like mind blowing. Like, there's so much involved in beach volleyball specifically that you can't control. Like,
and in the States.
Like, why, you know, it's just wild.
Well, just in Olympics alone, like the value that it brings to our sport is just like constantly the conversation. But like, is it helping our sport or hurting our sport?
Is it? No, but actually, is it? Because I'm so confused because it's always the most popular sport at the Olympics.
Right.
Like always one of them, especially this year.
It's just like an exhibitions show that has a beautiful venue and it's easy for the Olympics to display, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's an awesome sport. Once people watch it, usually more live,
especially in person,
like then they're like in awe, like they come away entertained, I think, watching our sport.
That's how I
so that's
feel.
why
it works
for the Olympics.
You know, I have friends come who have never watched sometimes, and like that, watching them get into it is so, I'm like,
but for it to be like we're all you know, it's a popular sport, a great business, I think Olympics hurts it.
Oh, go on.
I think we need a tour, right? That's stronger. And I think all the attention and hype, we actually put too much attention and hype on the Olympics, and it takes away from our other events. Like, we need someone to win every year, and it needs to matter. But some years nobody wins, right? Nobody wins the World Tour.
Yeah.
Nobody even wins the AVP Tour now that they have the league, which is a whole nother story.
They don't even have awards anymore.
But like World Championships is the one biggest thing in our sport that happens every 2 years. We need a World Championships every year, even if you're not going to call it that. Like, someone needs to win the World Tour. There needs to be value placed on it, and I think Olympics like the World Tour, for example, can make us chase our tails around the world for imaginary points, going to events we don't want to play in. We're not incentivized by money, but we know if we schedule this thing during Olympic qualification, you'll go anywhere in the world. Yeah. To go play in this Olympic game where you're not going to get paid to play in that either. You can just call yourself an Olympian. Luckily, the IOC created this event, or this event was created back in Greece a million years ago, and we're going to pigtail off that. You know, I don't know. I think it hurts the business of our sport. It doesn't have to. Like, other sports do it better, but they already have their sport established. Even like surfing, I think, is a comparison. But Olympics just got added into surfing, so it really is like the sideshow that it should be.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because I always, not always, but I would have thought that like the attention and the promotion that it gets from the Olympics would hopefully carry off into non-Olympic years and non-Olympic months and stuff like that. And I was really hopeful that would happen kind of this year.
Because you guys are carrying the torch.
Well, yeah. No, but mostly because like you could tell like, the IOC, the Olympics really kind of deemed beach volleyball as a marquee sport. Right. By putting it where they put it.
I agree. Yeah.
Putting it in front of the Eiffel Tower. It was one of the hottest sports at the Olympics. And that I think was intentional. And so I was like, okay, this is going to be great for the sport. Like there's going to be so much momentum coming off of that. But I don't know if it necessarily translated. I guess it's too soon to tell. Maybe we'll be able to tell next year, but
we've seen it every quad. It's the same thing.
The spike.
We spike and then we drop. There's a little buzz after, and then it drops, and then we slowly rise back up to the next 4 years.
And I think there's also a lack of awareness of athletes. Like, I think people like get attached to them during the Olympics and like to their stories and whatnot, and then they don't follow up with their stories. They don't keep up with kind of their journeys in between, whether it's following them on social or keeping tabs with them. And maybe that's because they aren't necessarily like back in the spotlight, playing in a league right away or playing in like a tournament right away to follow. So I feel like
it's the platform,
and it's so hard to follow.
Like there's no platform to like, there's no NBA to like go tell that story and to market and push those storylines and keep those like superheroes relevant, you know? For us, it just falls off. And now we have social media nowadays, but like that's separate.
It's so true, because I feel like for our sport, the Olympics is like what we chase the most.
Yeah.
Right.
And then when you look at other professional sports, they'll do it if it fits their schedule.
Yeah, totally.
Like you think of tennis or basketball, like the stars will go if their teams let them go, or if they choose to go.
It's still a big deal.
For sure.
But it's not their whole livelihood and everything relying on just getting this Olympic label, and then maybe I'll get more sponsors, or I'll, get a medal and then I'll be successful or whatever. And then you get there and you're like, oh, it was just 2 weeks or 3 weeks, like, wow, that was it.
Yeah. It's the most emotional 2 weeks of your life. And like the lead up to that too. Like, when you think about the 2 years.
How many years out? Yeah, exactly.
It's a journey.
It's not like that year or the few months, like, okay, now the Olympics are coming up. For us, it's like, here we go. 2 more years.
Yeah. And because some sports have their Olympic trials like a month before the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we have it 2 years before.
It's crazy. We have a whole off season where we're in the middle of Olympic qualifying.
Yeah.
Like that's our downtime, is like being like, should I work out more right now?
I know.
Should I be taking time off?
I can't go skiing just in case I risk an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. No,
When I got my autoimmune disease, it was the Olympic qualifying for 2016, surgery, got the autoimmune disease that off season, and then I missed 2 years, and then
straight back into
came back.
Olympic qualifying.
First event was the first event of Olympic qualifying that we won. So it was like a 3-star.
Still.
So technically we were in first of Olympic qualifying, the first tournament back. I was like, wow, I could use some time away from Olympic qualifying.
Yeah.
That
was
wild. Interesting.
Okay, I'm curious, like talking about like competition and like how you can you pinpoint a specific time where like you competed or you were like, oh, I love this competition, or I love being in competition, I love competing, or like how did it
like a specific year?
Well, I don't know, when you were younger, like where does it stem from?
You
because you have to have this certain
Her dad's a pro volleyball player.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. I feel like I think I had a like pretty organic entrance into the sport because of my dad, and I mean my mom was like a professional dancer as well, so activity was kind of always in my life. But I remember when I was like 12, 13, 14, I'd play like little youth events in Canada and like play provincials and stuff like that. And I was pretty competitive, and then I would play nationals, and I would, we'd win a couple of these tournaments. And so then I would be like, for under 14, I'd be like the best in Canada or something. Yeah. And like, I could feel myself being like, oh, this is really cool. And then I remember I went to my very first international tournament. And I was coming from, like, we had earned the spot. We were selected to go as, like, the best team in Canada for that age group. And we went to, I think the under-19 World Championships were in Turkey. And I was, like, 16 years old. It was my very first time representing Canada. And we finished last. Like, it was so humbling for me to be like, oh, yeah, I'm coming from, like, being the best in my country to, like, international and be like, oh, there are other people doing this. They're doing it way better than I am. And, like, it's, like, this whole other world where I was like, okay, so this could be a place where I can kind of be like, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes, and I could just stop and kind of just like play for fun, or I could like get back to work and see what it really takes to get to this level. And I think like that was kind of a pivotal time for me, like maybe 15, 16, 17 years old, where I was tasting international competition. I was tasting what it meant to represent Canada, to represent a country, and to like compete internationally. And I felt like I really wanted to rise to the challenge in a way, because I was told that I was too small, that I wouldn't be able to do anything internationally. Like I was getting cut from provincial teams because everyone else was growing and I wasn't really growing. And so I was more undersized, and I feel like there was something that I wanted to prove to myself and then to them. And so I think that really kind of like helped me push through that and kind of like get to this love of the game and love of competing more as like a testament to like, no, I belong here. I'm going to find a way to be here. I'm going to find a path of my own. And I did do that. It took a couple of years, but then, at the under, I think 21 World Championships, I went from like coming last, not making it out of pool 2 years ago. And then we finished with a silver medal at one tournament. And so it was like, it was really rewarding to know, okay, putting in the work, believing, surrounding yourself with good people, like that kind of stuff. Like these are things you can start doing that will actually pay off. And I think that kind of kept me hungry. That's what kind of kept pulling me back, is like, I never felt like I'd ever like reached a moment where I felt like I was the best or I had nothing else to learn, or like there was always something more that I was hungry for, something more that I could do better. And I think that's kind of what happened. I would just like reach all these little milestones along my journey, whether it was like medaling at an under 19 world championships, and then going to my very first Norsika and getting a medal there, and then like just hitting all these different like notches along the road until getting to where I am today. But I feel like it was a gradual progression. But I think it was like that little dipping the toe of putting myself out there in international events and being like, oh, I'm not ready to be here. What am I going to do about that? And then kind of responding the way I did.
Yeah, it's so interesting because there's like two sides to it, right? There's the side of like, okay, when you feel like you're good at something, or when you feel that success, that feels good and you want more of it. And then when you feel like you're not, you know, or when you have room to improve, like that feels really good because then you want to like, you know, so that's really interesting.
But it can also be like, it is a mindset, and you do have to make sure you surround yourself with people who do challenge you and push you and like believe in yourself, because I think a lot of people, if they don't feel that success right away, they probably stop, or they won't continue.
Right.
Or if they feel the challenge is too early, or they don't have the belief in themselves and no one's really helping them either, then it can be really easy to stop. And so I think you have to like have that belief in yourself, but you also have to have people that are going to help you.
Totally. That's been really interesting with our daughter.
Yeah.
Because
right, yeah, she's competitive.
Yeah, well, I believe it.
Well, it's interesting though, because she's really competitive, but then so like me, I have a competitive side, like maybe with board games or like something like.
Yes.
But over the last years, that side has gone away a lot. I'm like, what? You know, I don't know. When I was younger, I was competitive, and then I think I was like, oh, this is all kind of like, well, who cares? We all win. I don't know. Like, let's all just win. Right. I don't know. That's like more in my mind. But
you've never screamed in someone's face.
Maybe when I was younger, like I cared more. But then I just stopped as much. But anyway, I mean, I definitely have like the growth mindset in terms of like competitiveness, but not in terms of games or sports.
Well, you've just never you haven't been put head to head with people.
Totally.
In just the things that you do.
Totally. But it's interesting seeing our daughter, and like, cause you know, the time comes to like, when you're 5, you're like, oh, let's like talk about joining a sports team or something like that. And she made a comment like to try, like, I don't want to play cause I don't want to lose.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes.
Wow. At 5 years old, it's already
if that's
there.
good or bad.
Yeah.
I don't think it's either. I just feel like it is. You accept it and you validate it. Like, yeah, that's fair. That's a fear.
Yeah.
And that's normal. I still have that. Like, totally. I don't like. I don't want to lose.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I feel like that doesn't ever really leave you. It's just kind of reframing. Why, or like unpacking. Like what? Like what does that bring up in you? Is it like insecurity? Is it doubt? Is it anger?
I think the biggest thing that's come up is comparison. Like that's the thing I would want to push on her is, as long as you're not comparing yourself to other people's journeys, and like there's just so much out of your control that they're gonna have, or you know, setbacks that they're gonna have or you're not gonna have, or wherever. It could just be the place that you are, you know, that gives you the opportunity, like it was for me in volleyball. So it's the comparing yourself to other people that is the biggest thing. Like, compete and push yourself and see what you're capable of, but like don't compare it to what other people are doing. It's just uncomparable. Yeah. You can compare it, and then you're just going to drive yourself crazy because it's out of your control.
Yeah. You can only focus on you. Yeah. Like, that's the only thing you can control. Yeah. Your thoughts, your actions, your words, and, like, what you tell yourself. And so that's what I mean, it takes time to learn that. I mean, it's 5, and she's already kind of in tune with those emotions, which is wild. It starts young, but, like, it will take time. Like, 30, I'm still working on that. So
for sure. Yeah.
And I feel like it's really prevalent in your industry. I feel like it's so easy to compare yourself with other people. And I mean, yes, with athletes, we're kind of like put against each other to like fight. And it's like a game to a certain amount of points. And like whoever wins that, it's like a clear winner. But I feel like with your industry, there's no point to reach. It's like, just if you vibe with this character, this role better, or if this person likes you more and thinks you're a better fit, like it just seems so ruthless in that way, where it's like hard not to compare.
Yeah, it's even harder because they don't.
It's so subjective.
You can win. Well, she can perform perfectly and kill it and not get the part, which is crazy to me.
Totally.
But then also it's art. So like you're just trying to put yourself out there and do your best.
There's so many different ways to
do it.
There's
no right way.
It's
not
like
a painting,
point,
right?
Like points or.
It's like you either like it or you don't. There's no right or wrong.
I feel like I would really struggle with that. But I can tell you obviously have a mindset that is just so expansive in that way, where you can kind of settle with those. And I'm sure it took time and perspective, but to settle with those kind of emotions and like how to deal with rejection and how to deal with, oh, this is my form of expression that you don't like, but I'm still okay with it.
Yes.
Which is
definitely taking time, but it takes like compartmentalize it. Like I'm really good at compartmentalizing, I think, like too. And also, what was the smile? What
is it compartmentalizing?
Yeah, I think so.
Compartmentalizing.
Compartmentalizing.
Yeah. If you say it fast, no one will notice. Just try. It's good.
I just had a thought. I didn't say it.
Compartmentalizing. Yeah, no, I thought it was fine. Keep going.
We get the point.
Yeah. But yeah, where, you know, I'm able to like, I don't know, I like I do an audition or I do a tape and I send it off, and then I'm able to completely forget about it and I don't dwell on things. Like I'm very good at
that's a good skill,
and not taking things personally. Like, you know, if somebody like says something mean to me or does whatever, I'm very, very aware that they're having a bad day or whatever it is. Like I'm that stuff has never bothered me. I think that's another thing of like seeing how everybody's going through something and like being very aware of what people are going through and the human experience in general is like, you're like, you see, you know, you look at this one person talk about comparing where you're like, oh, that everything looks so great. They probably have such an easy, great life. But like, I know people like that. I know those people. And I know that there's a lot that they struggle with, you know, nobody has it better, you know? So I think just like I'm just very aware that everybody's going through something, and
you're so empathetic and compassionate.
Well,
and acting, you just that's what you study. That's your craft, right?
Yeah,
like you guys in college, they would go and like their class would be go sit on the stairs near the library and watch people.
Yeah,
that was their class, and I'm like trying to get past like doing math.
Get out of my way.
I'm trying to pass classes. Like I got all these difficult classes that I don't care about because my thing's volleyball, and she's over there just.
You can't major in volleyball, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They had another class where they acted like animals or something like that.
Like seaweed. That's one you always bring up. Yeah. We had a class in college.
Wait,
how is
where
this
we had to be seaweed.
How
so
do
like
you
you had to like plant your feet and then just like move whichever way.
You had to embody things.
I feel like we need to do more of that.
Right?
I feel like you also have to have like no self-judgment to be able to do that. You need to be able to just like be so comfortable with yourself,
but to be an athlete too, right? Like,
but I feel like there's so much ego involved in sports.
Well, I guess there's on the court and off the court.
Yeah, right. You can have a persona on the court. You have to be really
good at doing it on the court, which is another really huge similarity between acting and
turning it on and off. Yeah.
Being an athlete is like being present and focus, like, you know, all the sports psych stuff you guys do, and that kind of work of like being able to have no outside eye on yourself and being completely in your body. Like that's 100% if you're on set and you're thinking about
even more so, I think, for them.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Because you guys like
you guys can have moments in between.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I can hit a bad shot, they dig it, but now I block it.
Right.
But like if you like totally botch something,
even a
cut,
moment. I mean, every moment.
And there's a set of like 100 people whose jobs it is.
Right. It's crazy because that freaks me out. But like I've played in stadiums with like tens of thousands of people, and that's fine. But like being in a room where like everyone's watching you, for some reason I don't feel that when I'm on a court.
Right.
And I'm sure you maybe don't feel
because
that.
You have how many people watching you on TV, but that is part of the how you're able to be present to, and like, not think about that, right? Yeah, because you're so in the moment that you don't let your mind go there.
And it's kind of like that court, that like 8x8 court is kind of like my safe haven. It's like my outlet, and so I feel it feels very comfortable for me. Obviously, I haven't been in front of a camera that much, in front of like a producer and a director and all these other actors. I feel like that would freak me out. But I'm just so in awe.
It's just all mental. Though. You could do it, and you just would have to work on yourself. You just have to lie to yourself, tell yourself that you don't. I think you'd find a way to like tell yourself that you can handle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And it's practice. Everything is practice. The more you do it, the more time you have it with, the more comfortable you get.
Right.
One of the coolest things I did was take improv classes in Hollywood.
Yeah.
How was
I'd highly recommend it. It just makes you so much more.
I get nervous already.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, but it was, he took the class with a lot of people who weren't actors.
Yeah, like
a lot of people
level
who have to do presentations and or interviews
public
or whatever.
speaking.
Public speaking, yeah. And it's amazing. I was like maybe one of the more comfortable people in the class.
Really?
By the end, like, because I realized, like, oh wow, these people are even more nervous than me. Like, I at least like.
And it's not working. It's not helping them.
I know how to handle my pressure, you know,
you
somewhat, because I just do it, right? Like, but some of these people, like, they're, you know, work office job. They don't have that. I'm like, oh wow, I guess I'm okay.
I think you have it more than you think.
For sure.
Maybe. I think it just feels really intimidating. But anything new does.
Anything new does. Yeah.
It's very relatable to volleyball in that, like, you just have to trust the present moment and what comes up instinctually. It's an improv, not an I don't know how to act.
Like, improv, you have to be so in the moment because you have to feed off of whatever.
And you can't plan ahead. In the beginning, even like podcasting, it's like, oh, Mel's talking. Oh, I have something to say. I have to save it. Yeah. But I'm not listening to you anymore. Totally. And then when I say the next thing, it's not genuine because I was just waiting and I wasn't listening to you.
Podcasting is 100% like improv.
So I've had to learn, like, improv, like, just, hey, let that thought go. Like, it'll come back up if it's meant to come back. Yeah. But I need to listen right now and genuinely respond.
Maybe I'll take one over the holidays. My off season, I'll do improv.
Do that.
Improv lessons.
Let's go.
Yes.
Off season training.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you do it often or not anymore?
I do. So I actually go have an acting class once a week, and there's only like 6 of us in it. It's
so actors do that. Like, people don't know. Tell them about, like, acting class. People don't realize, like, if you're not in a movie for a year, doesn't mean you weren't acting or doing anything.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, you're not working all the time. You know, it's like you guys going to practice or whatever. Like, if I was like going from one movie to another, sure, you know, but you gotta, you know. So I found this amazing little group of people, and we like. We have an acting. He's like been kind of my mentor for the last, I don't know, how long since I've graduated college.
Long time.
And we like meet in Santa Monica and like someone's back house and like every week, and we just work on new scenes every week, and then we do improv before to, like, as a warm up.
So fun.
So it's really fun.
Do you feel like you have a good balance? Like, you're not like a method actor where you have to, like, you cannot leave your role even when you go home?
Yeah, no, I'm not like that
Thank
at all.
God.
That
would be terrible.
No, I mean,
I'm a psycho this week. I'm just going to live it out.
If I'm working on something that's, like, really different and, like, for, you know, a months at a time, like, for sure there's going to be times where you can't leave it. I mean, but my way of working is, like, very imagination based. So, like, when I leave it, I'm like, okay, now that's not me. Like, this is my, that's not my life. You, like, you have tools to be able to, like, step in and out of it.
Well, you've had, like, roles, like, rattle you a little bit, right? Where you come back, you're like, wow, that was, like, a really dark place I didn't like going to.
For sure. But at the same time, I kind of, even if it, like, feels dark after or heavy after, I'm like, I always liked going there because I'm very much aware that it's not my life too. So then it makes you even more grateful for your life after your life.
You find gratitude in anything. That is incredible. I love that. I need to do more gratitude practice. Oh my God. It's so true though. I feel like when you find, like, these really dark places, it makes you appreciate, like, the goodness that you have. Yeah. Wow, that's really special.
Yeah.
What's next on the schedule for you guys?
It's our last week of training this week. It's crazy. Insane. I can't believe it. And then on Friday, we're off to Doha. And that's the last tournament of the year. And we kind of snuck in. We got a little wild card. And then that's going to be it. I think it took us a long time to get to this point. There was definitely moments of, like, how are we going to plan, like, life after the Olympics? Like, what's this fall season going to look like? And it was pretty heavy, honestly, with the league and everything, and now the World Tour final. So I'm looking forward to this tournament. I think there would have been a moment where I'd be like, oh, I can't wait till it's over. I just want to go home. And I think my energy is, like, leaning towards that. But I've had such an incredible year this year, up and down. Like, yes, we accomplished some great things. We also had some pretty low lows, but I'm just so grateful for it all. And so I really want to finish very present in the moment and, like, enjoy this last week of training together with the team and enjoy being here. I mean, it's November. The weather's been amazing. I'm really enjoying the process of getting back into kind of the swing of things. I think I spent a couple weeks at home, like I mentioned, and I was getting really cozy at home and like really nesty that I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to get out of this.
I'm too comfortable.
I'm so comfortable at home, like getting ready for the holidays. Like I was like so out of my regular routine. So it took a little bit to snap out of it. But once we got back here and got back with the team, I was like, oh, I really love this. Like it's really special when you do it with the right people and you have the right mindset. I feel like it's so fulfilling. And so I really just want to enjoy this last couple weeks we have and kind of close out the year in a very special way, in a very intentional way, our way. And then it's the holidays, which is crazy. It'll be like mid-December. I'll go back to Canada for a bit, have a proper off season. And then, I mean, it's too far to think about, but then we'll come back in the new year and we'll start another quad again.
Oh my God, don't think about that yet. Are you doing anything to celebrate, like specifically when this tournament is over? Do you have anything in mind where you're like, I'm going to do this for myself? Or
That's so funny.
Or did you get to properly celebrate the Olympics? The year, I should say.
We haven't. Like, it's been a whirlwind.
You have to make sure that you, like, sit with it and...
Oh, for sure.
Do something
You're
for
like,
yourself.
yeah, that sounds like more work.
No. I actually, it's funny. I was talking to my sports psych about this. Of like, I haven't even watched our gold medal match back yet. I just feel like it still gives me butterflies. I know it was like 3 months ago, but it still feels like it was yesterday. It still gives me butterflies to think about. I don't know. I just have it in my head one way, and I'm just a little afraid of like how it's going to change that. So I think at one point in this off season, or like at the end of the season, I'll rewatch the game and then like I feel like that'll help settle some feelings, or just like, these are the facts. This is what happened. This is how it was. It's playing differently in my head, and like the emotions are still pretty like vibrant, but like, so I'm going to watch it. I'm going to journal. I think so. Okay. No, I think I'll watch it by myself. Yeah. I'll probably journal about it. I'm not a huge journaler. I wish I was more, but during the Olympics, I journaled like every day. Just because there was so much like running through me. I had to get it out. Yeah. And so I just pen to paper, I started getting it out. And so I just feel like it's natural for me to just like also release that. For sure. And then so one of the things I was telling my sports psych is during the Olympics, I also picked up like coloring. And so I thought,
our 5-year-old too.
No, I'm all about it.
I love it. It just like awoke this coloring? Like, honestly, just like crayon and like coloring books. Yeah, literally
like
started
by number or
like Elsa,
just my own.
Disney. Yeah. Elsa, what do we think?
Yeah, I love Frozen.
There you go.
Coloring books are amazing.
And so that was like, I feel like a kind of an attachment to there where I feel like I'll just start coloring or drawing like after I watch this game. Like it just feels like this very like out of body experience, this very kind of like ethereal.
More adults need to color.
Totally. Yes. Bring back some childhood memories.
My kid's making me color a lot. I'm like,
isn't it a good release?
Yeah, when you're like,
it's like therapeutic.
Yeah, she forces me sometimes. I'm like, I'm not in the mood. Okay, I'll do it. And then you're like, okay, I'm like in a very peaceful state of mind
so
right
therapeutic.
now.
It's a release. And so I loved it. So I bought a coloring book.
Nice.
And I'm going to color a little bit as a way to kind of work through those emotions. Yes. And then another thing, I'll probably just do like, I'll go into the forest and do like a forest bathing, a forest walk. I feel like that's going to be my way to like kind of like come to terms with the season, come to terms with the Olympics and my own inner like celebration, I guess. But for sure, I'll do like some sort of like family and friends moment. We've done some here and there since the Olympics, but and my family and friends have been incredible. But I think, when I have like actual time where I'm like not worrying about competing anymore, not worrying about moving on to the next thing right away, I think will be the time to like reflect, because I haven't had a second to think about the Olympics. It's been go, go, go ever since. And I feel like the holidays will be a good time for me to just like be with people, talk about the year, like what was the best part of the year and like what did you learn from it. I love doing that kind of reflection with people.
Me too.
So I think that'll be fun. But I don't know, I'm kind of like nervous for what it's gonna bring up. Yeah, I saw some clips, like someone was playing the game on YouTube a couple days ago, and I was like, oh my god, I can't watch. Like, and I would like, I would like look over, and I'd be like, oh my god, what did I do? I was like, there were so many things I saw that I was like, I don't remember this play.
I bet
so
you must
it's just
have
such a blur.
That's why you gotta watch it, right? Because in your brain it builds it up in a certain way, and then you watch it after, you're like, wow, I did everything that was in my control. I did it well, whatever.
And that's what I genuinely feel about the finals of the Olympics. I feel like that was actually probably the best volleyball I had played at the Olympics. Not ever in my career, but at the Olympics, like I was pretty messy up and down. Like it wasn't the best volleyball or the cleanest volleyball I've played, but the finals were probably some of the best volleyball I played at the games. And so knowing that, like, I played pretty good and we lost,
really
I was like,
about.
oh, that's like kind of like a gut punch. But it's still good to like sit with those feelings.
Yeah.
And there's always something to like learn from that. So I am excited for it. I am nervous, but I'm just looking forward to chilling.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. What about you? What's next for you?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have a baby.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna finish our house.
You're such
first.
a superwoman.
Baby
I
in
have
January.
like so many projects that I want
Keep
to
making up.
finish. Yeah, but it's like so satisfying. So yeah, I have a list of projects that I want to do before, and then we're gonna go to Hawaii
Yay.
for a few weeks, and then
Are you going to be there for Christmas?
not
No,
this year
first
because we
winter
have to.
in California in a long time.
Exciting.
'Cause we usually go for about a month or two.
Yeah.
So I'm due January 23rd. We have to be back 4 weeks before. Then
Yeah.
I can't fly. So
Yeah.
we're coming back December 16th, and then we'll be here. But we're gonna go to the mountains for Christmas to visit Tri's sister.
Oh, like Tahoe?
Near Tahoe, yeah.
Near
Nice.
Tahoe.
Oh, that'll be nice. I know
Yeah.
you probably want to be in Hawaii, but that'll be nice to have like
White
new
Christmas
traditions.
is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
That'd
a
be
white
cool.
Christmas.
No,
Yeah.
it'll be cool for sure.
Yeah.
It's
I
just the cold, like being
I'm a
here
little
on those cold
nervous
windy
Yo, it's
days.
not cold
about
here.
Tri being here through the winter.
okay.
It's not cold?
And going. Yeah,
Come to
I
Canada.
was laughing
this
when
week
you just
was
said.
okay, but like those windy,
Yeah.
when it gets
No, I
windy
hear
and
you.
I
rainy,
was
I'm
laughing
just
when
like,
you just
oh.
said this because it's been such beautiful weather. Like all I hear is Tri. Like my hands hurt so. Like he was not built for this. He's like
just built different,
He's just
you
built
know?
different.
No, that's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair. Everyone's
he's
different.
just so uncomfortable when he's cold. He hurts. Like it hurts his body. So I'm
You're a little worried for
worried about
yeah.
this guy, but
Yeah.
I got him a heated mattress pad.
That was a game changer.
Oh, good.
They make mattress pads that plug in, and each side of the bed is it can be set to a different
you don't have
temperature.
to be
It's
hot.
on a timer, and
Oh,
like
genius.
yeah,
It's
you
sweet.
just turn it on an hour before getting.
Naya made us do Christmas lists the other day.
Oh yeah.
How exciting.
Heated toilet seat
try
is my big one.
That's so good.
Right? Like every once in a while you get on one of those and you're like,
Yeah, it's like, you don't want to get off.
you don't
they
need
do
it, but
feel
yeah.
nice.
yeah.
I've never thought of it as like a necessity, but
No, it is a
do feel
luxury
nice.
for
Now that
sure.
we're gonna be here for the winter, the cold, dark winter.
Yeah, that's so exciting. Oh, I'm pumped for you because I actually feel like a white Christmas is very magical.
Right.
And I mean, I grew up with white Christmases, and like I spent a couple Christmases in Chile with my family, and it was always very warm there. And I was like, this doesn't feel like Christmas.
Totally.
That's true.
So sound off in the comments if you prefer a white
Yeah.
Christmas or a hot Christmas.
Yeah.
Right. No, it doesn't feel the same. Like literally, our Christmas is open presents in Hawaii.
And then you
We'd
go to
open
the beach.
presents and we go to the beach.
That is wild.
like
It's
as a
so
family.
different.
And
I
me
mean-
and London too does Christmases like the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always like only time you see a white Christmas is on TV, or something. So
Right.
to actually experience it is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be so nice. I think you're
But
gonna love it.
I've done it before.
You just have to be prepared. You have your heat warmer like for your hands.
I
Yeah,
know.
I know.
He's
A
got
heated
all the
blanket.
tools.
Oh, you
he
have
feels
it.
like it doesn't do anything.
I wear heated snowboard gloves.
He just does
here.
really bad blood flow to
Are
his
you
hands.
serious?
Yeah, like out to practice on those freezing days in like February, January.
I will give you that. The mornings can be very cold here, and the evenings do cool off quite a bit.
Right.
But it's like it's not.
It's not.
I know. He's
I mean,
just
it's not
like-
snow.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because Connor's the complete opposite. He runs like so hot, so hot where it's unbearable. Like in the middle of winter in Canada, he like cannot have sheets on him. Like he
Oh
just,
my god.
And I recently learned that gingers, he's a ginger, they experience heat. They run hotter. Like it's like
So
in
I
their
guess
genetics.
I got
Tri's
ginger
not
beard.
A ginger.
Yeah, no.
I don't
think it
consider
depends
myself
on
a
the
true
one
ginger. Yeah.
head. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the beard counts, but no, the gingers are built different, and apparently they
Oh, I
don't
could've used some-
experience.
a little fire, a little.
Yeah,
heat,
just
you know?
diet.
Maybe in
a
your
little
older
change.
age. It's been getting darker as he gets older.
Same with him, with Connor. He's
Yeah.
been getting a little bit more brown, which I
Yeah.
kind of missed the bright red. I didn't think I
Yeah.
would love it as much as I do. But what's on top of your Christmas wish list? Anything?
I didn't write. Oh, I wrote. It was Naya. Naya gave it to me, so I was giving it back to her. I wrote Naya Snuggles. 'cause
Oh,
that
that's
was
such a
just-
good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a list.
Yeah.
I was saying that I usually if I want something, I
get it.
purchase it on Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. Like,
yeah.
What does Gabby want?
I don't
probably
feel
just
like
get
I
it if
need
you want it
anything.
nowadays, which
It's
is like
true.
crazy to be in that time of life where we can do that.
I'm like in like an experience kind of place, you know?
Yeah, I don't really need anything.
I'm with you on that.
Also, our house is like pretty small, so like we can't get more things.
Stuff.
No.
Yeah. No more stuff. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like unlearn all this like consumerist kind of behavior that we've been like brought up here. It's just so ingrained in us.
All these kids' birthday parties, I'm like, you don't need another present.
I know we need
Like,
to
what,
talk
does she
about
need a
that
doll?
another time because
I posted in my stories today. There's some great resources I'll send you and then great documentary just got released on Netflix. I was just watching it before here.
I want you to teach me everything.
I'm learning. I'm just trying because it's so ingrained in us. And I will say, I didn't even think it was different in Canada, but even since being in the States a lot more, it's like even more prevalent here. Just like what's accessible, how quickly it is. It's way more here than it is in Canada. And it's not like we're like that far away, or you'd think of Canada as something that's not that accessible, but like things don't arrive as quickly as they do, or there's not as much available as there is here.
It's so
where I
true.
feel like when I'm here, I'm like constantly like I'm at Target. I'm like everything is just so accessible, and it's like whatever the marketing's happening down here, it is working because I'm like someone who wants to be intentional, and I'm like, I have all of this stuff. Why is there another package at my door?
Yeah.
Right. It's interesting because on the one hand, I feel like I don't go to the store anymore because if I need something, I save. Like I'm like all about time efficiency,
yes, of course.
so I'll just go straight on and order it. And when I go to the store, I buy way more things, right? Because in my mind, at least I think, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know, but in my mind, I think if I go to Target, I'm never leaving with the 100%. One thing that I want. But if
it's designed for you
go
not
on
to.
Amazon to buy this one thing that I want, I'm not going to go on there and buy multiple things. Yeah. I'm going to just do
you
the
just
thing
type in
that
what
I
you
need.
want. Yeah. Yeah, that's
so
true.
I do
actually,
think that's helped me actually, which you could see it as either way.
Yeah. But I think this documentary will be like I watched the first 15 minutes, and it was someone who worked at Buy Now. It's like the shopping conspiracy.
Yeah.
Someone from Amazon worked on it, and she was talking about the science behind trying to get you to buy more. But you're right. Like, it's like we don't even think about it. We're just kind of like manipulated in a way. It's like kind of freaky.
Social media.
I want to watch that.
Trying to sell
you know, watch it.
Let's watch
on
it.
Netflix. Yeah, too. Yeah. Sunday afternoon, self-care day. Put on a Netflix documentary.
Well, we got football on this.
Oh, yeah, no. Priorities.
Done. Self-care Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally watch documentaries.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of documentaries.
Do you?
But she doesn't.
Well,
like
see, the thing is, I only watch TV at night, like after a certain time period, and my brain just doesn't work.
So you need something that's like...
And if I'm going to be working my brain, then I'm going to be doing work that I have to do, you know what I mean?
So you need something that's just like brainless.
Like I want to show.
Like a reality show?
No, I don't watch reality shows. It's not
like you have to study the documentary and memorize everything it's saying.
No, yeah, but it requires more focus, and it makes you think. Like, plus, I mean, I'm an actor. I like watching like creative shows where people are, you know, either being funny or creating good storylines or characters where I can just like lose myself in it, right? I mean, I enjoyed the Martha Stewart documentary.
Yes. Oh, that was so good.
That was
kind of wild.
Yeah. But like, you know, I don't know. But no, that would really interest me. I would watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Connor actually was huge on sporting documentaries. He got me into all of them.
There's
Started with the Conor McGregor. Lately. Yeah. Have you seen that one?
The McGregor one was good.
Saw that one like years ago, and I don't even like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and I was like, oh my God.
They're just doing such a good job now.
Yeah.
And then all these docuseries shows.
I know. When is beach volleyball gonna get one?
Yeah.
Well, we're
always close.
There's things coming, maybe.
We have a few in the works.
They're
just not getting picked up.
I know. Come on. I feel like people want to see this.
SANDCAST
people want to see this.
I agree.
We have content.
Has one that might be coming soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, well, we could go all day. I feel like
I don't want to stop.
Maybe we should give you guys. I mean, if you guys want to stay, but maybe we'll give you guys another episode.
Oh, if the people want it.
Maybe our viewers have to let us know in the YouTube comments if you guys want a Mel and Gabby show. Then we'll just let them ride and I'll bail, and they can bring guests on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was so fun.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. What a great addition to my Sunday routine.
There we go. We'll have Gabby build a whole new set. We need a different flair.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's pretty special. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, where can people find you? Remind people where they can find you guys on social.
On social, yeah.
You're both blowing up right now, by the way.
Really?
Hers is going off.
Always, as it should. She's incredible. You need to follow her. But mine is Melissa Humana-Paredes. My name, it's pretty long, but if you type it in, it should come up with the little blue check mark. Yeah.
Yes.
Mine is Gabby_Bourne.
Perfect. You guys know mine. All right. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks for having us.
We need a different sign off than shoots.
Shoots.
Shoots.